Hey y'all, my name is Jasmine Jones. I'm a licensed clinical social worker, and you are now watching Black Girl, a Therapist in the Wild, and you are tuned into my little series, Therapist Sips and Reviews, and we are sipping on Calarasi once again. I'm gonna get some new alcohol, for the next video. And we are reviewing I May Destroy You, Season 1, Episode 6, The Alliance. So, last time I made a mistake on the series name. So I apologize. Or the episode. I'm just all over the place. The episode that we were actually on. I said episode 4 last time. We were on episode 5. So I made sure today to say episode 6. I'm human. I will make mistakes. So I apologize. And like I said, it's hard not to go ahead. I think they're on the UK, I think they're probably on episode 11 right now. There's only about 12 episodes, I think. So it's hard not to, go to one of those little websites where they show the free shows and just watch it all the way through. But I'm doing it. I am persevering. So we are on episode 6 tonight, The Alliance. And there are so many plot twists, and, at some points you expect certain scenes to turn into the corny Lifetime movie, this is what happens when you're sexually assaulted type deal. And then it just flips the whole script on you and talks about some shit that, people don't realize happens with mental health. So, we start the show off with Arabella, Kwame, and Terry. They are doing some spray painting. So Arabella's still trying to do like her therapist said, get in that relaxed mode and things like that, and try to do relaxing things so she can slowly wean off from her friends and start to learn how to be in silence and stillness when she's by herself. Terry's feeling some type of way because Arabella is not paying attention to the activity. She's talking to Kwame like, why isn't she paying attention? Because she's on her phone. Arabella's on her phone. So there may be a slight, not to say that she was on social media from jump, but it could be a slight, dependency on social media building up, maybe because she's on her phone while they're supposed to be spray painting. Or I could have just came in on that scene because she said afterwards that she was doing something else on her phone. So Terry's feeling some type of way, and she's talking to Kwame, and Kwame's just not feeling it, and he's got this stank attitude every time Arabella and her sexual assaults, there's been 2 now, come up, and it's just like, Kwame, you can't be mad if you haven't told anybody what happened to you. You don't know how, so you're just assuming based off of how other people treat Arabella that she's just this, whatever. I don't know what's going on in his head, but it looked, he was stank the whole time. And it's just like, you know what? Some people will take their trauma and work through it and try to heal from it. And some people will let their trauma destroy them and destroy how they feel about themselves and destroy the relationship, just skew everything around you until you believe that the world is a horrible, evil place and there's nothing good and everybody's evil. So I'm just going to stay evil and this is how I survive as well. So Terry's all like, when the neural system is overwhelmed, it goes to baseline or something like that. And she's trying to explain to Kwame why Arabella might just be going through the motions of these activities, but still be hurting inside, basically. Kwame's just not even responding. He doesn't even respond. Like, Terry's like, so what should we do to get her back over here? And, having her participate and getting her to be happy. So Terry's on this trip of making Arabella happy. And making sure that she's feeling good all the time, which is, she's going to hurt. And she needs to feel that pain so that she can get past that pain and no longer be afraid of that pain. Because when you're afraid of the pain, that's how you stay in that sunken place of trauma. That's where Kwame is going, because he's let his pain turn into anger at everything and everyone around him. So, Kwame's just not responding. So Terry's just like, whatever. And then Arabella comes over and she starts packing up. And Terry's like, oh, where are you going? And Arabella's all like, oh, I'm going to my support group. So Arabella's going to a support group. Support groups are amazing, especially for abuse, trauma, addiction, because a lot of times when you go through certain mental health issues, you feel isolated and alone. Especially when it comes to trauma, if you've been abused for a long period of time or even just once, you feel like either the perpetrator makes you feel like, and you continue to make yourself feel like, well, I'm the only one, nobody cares about me, I'm by myself, blah blah blah. And so you isolate and you separate yourself from people. So groups are great to just kind of help you realize that there's other people in the world that are going through similar things and you're not by yourself. So it's amazing. I like groups. I've ran groups before, but I haven't ran them in a long time. Not to say that I couldn't, but it's just a bunch of people staring at you and stuff, and then you have to get the conversation going. So I get kind of anxious. Not that I'm saying I couldn't do it, but it's I am a constant work in progress. So anyways, Arabella's going to the group, and the group is ran by her former high school friend Theo, and Terry immediately gets this stank face, and I'm thinking maybe Terry's jealous of Theo, or Terry wants to be the one to help Arabella, but later on we see that Terry has a reason for why she feels the way she feels about Theo. And maybe she's, when people show you who they are, believe them the first time, please. Because, by the end of this, you can see that Arabella might be setting herself up for some bullshit. Because Theo's So anyways, she goes to the support group and there's women around in a circle talking about different experiences of sexual harassment, assault, and things like that. One woman mentions like she was talking to a male coworker at work and he put his hand on her thigh like he could do that. Y'all, it's difficult to do, but you gotta start being able to just tell somebody to stop. And the person that you're telling to stop will probably make a big deal out of it if they don't respect people's space. Obviously, they don't if they're putting their hands on your thigh or the small of your back, which was also mentioned in the group. But you got to just be like, I got to a point, because I'm not a hugger. I don't like hugging strange people. I don't like, and I've said this before, I don't like touching strange people. I don't like being touched unless you my nigga. Or my child, I don't like it. Or Poof can touch me, but even after a while, it's hot. I don't want you just all on me forever. Obviously, I have things to work on, but, you have to learn how to say no, regardless of how the other person reacts, because at the end of the day, you are not responsible for the fact that they are triggered by the word no. You are not responsible for the fact that they don't respect other people's boundaries. You're not responsible for that. And that's what I had to learn. I'm not responsible for whatever made you get all extra weird about me not wanting a hug. This is my body, not your body. I don't want you touching me. So yeah. They were talking about that in there and how it made them feel uncomfortable, and then how if you say something, then the other person will turn it around on you and make it seem like you're the problem and other things like that. And it's just like, okay. The thing is giving into the argument. That's the thing, because that is the person showing you who they are. If they start getting mad and start being like, oh, well, you're making a big deal out of this and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, stay calm. Try your best to stay calm. Don't argue back. Just get up and walk out. Like, you know what? I don't care if it's your best friend and you've been best friends forever. If they know that you don't like shit like that and they do it on a regular basis and you told them to stop, no, I'm not arguing with you. I told you how I felt. You're still doing the thing, so I have to go. If it's your coworker at work. And it's really... You have to be brave enough to say, if I have to take this all the way to the extreme and go to HR, I will go to HR. All of this takes bravery is what I'm saying as well. So all of this takes bravery. It's not something for the faint of heart, because it can affect your job. It can affect how other people see you and things like that. So yeah. Theo at the beginning of the group gives this long speech about how she hates abusers and how she was sexually exploited and abused, and how she just wants to create a safe space for other women that are other people that have been sexually exploited and abused and all this other stuff. So That's going to be important for the end. And Arabella's just sucking it up. She's just like, yeah, this is going to be great. I'm going to get help here. And yeah, be careful. When somebody shows you who they are, believe them the first time. And let's get into it. So we then flash back to 2004 Theo. She's climbing in her window. She snuck out the night before for a party, and so she's trying to put her, I guess she's trying to like change into her pajamas because her brother starts knocking on the door, her little brother, and he wants to come in and whatever. So she's changing into her pajamas, and then she has this gift that she wraps up, and her brother comes in. I forgot what they were talking about. And then she goes out and sits with her stepdad, her mom, and her little brother. Excuse me. And apparently her stepdad, his name is Martin. I remember that. It's his birthday. And so she's telling him happy birthday. She got him a gift. I forgot what the gift. It was in this plastic, and then it was in this plastic container, and it was this black box in this plastic container, and I kept trying to see what it was, and I didn't know what it was. So if you guys know what that was, I mean, it's not that big of a deal, but yeah. So Theo is telling Martin happy birthday and telling her brother to tell him happy birthday. So you think things are copacetic with the family? No. Instead, Theo's mom, she knows her child. She knows Theo went out and snuck out the house. So she says it. She says, next time you sneak out or don't sneak out or something like that. And then Theo just goes the fuck off. She's like, fuck you, bitch. I didn't sneak out the house. Didn't you see me? And she points to her little brother and said, didn't you see me changing my clothes? Because apparently her brother told his mom that she was in her regular clothes and shit like that. Didn't you see me in my pajamas before I put on my school uniform and all this other stupid shit? And she just went the fuck. She popped off. So she has a lot of anger inside of her, a lot of things going on. When she climbed back in the window, she was texting some guy. I guess it was a guy at her school that she likes or something like that. And she was about to type that she loved him, So I was just like, okay, I mean, teenage puppy love, whatever. And then she leaves for school. She meets up with the guy at school. I think his name is Ryan. And they're kissing in some little back hallway or something. And then she runs and finds a little hidey hole for them to do more than just kiss. And so they're doing their little children thing in the, little vacant classroom or something. And all of a sudden she looks up and he's like taking pictures of her having sex with him. And she gets mad and she tells him to stop, He got a couple humps in before he just stopped completely. I feel a type of way about that, but whatever. He stops and, she's just like, what the fuck? Why are you taking pictures of me? This is not okay. Da 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 da. And he's like, why are you making a big deal of it? And didn't you fuck this other nigga? And ain't you? So, she's sexually free or something in some way. And so, he's trying to throw it back in her face, gaslight her, make her feel like she's a slut or whatever the fuck. And so finally he's like, I'll give you $10 if you let me keep the pictures. And she's like, no, I want $30. I'm assuming that's somewhere around $30. 30 quid. I'm thinking that's around $30 Americana. So she's like, I want $30. So she's up in the price, and then she's gonna let him take more pictures. And so they get back to having sex. He finds $30, and they get back to having sex, and he's taking more pictures, and she's letting him, and all this other stuff. So first and foremost, I mentioned before that promiscuity can often be a symptom of sexual abuse or sexual assault. Doesn't always have to be. Some people are just sexually free, and good for you. Shit, I'm monogamously sexually free. Everybody's different, but it doesn't always have to be. Or it could be a way to feel more empowered from your trauma, so it can be turned into something else as well. But when it's that out of control, frantic, anytime I feel bad, I need to have sex, or I need to find somebody to have sex with, usually that's based off of some shit you've been through and whatever. So this is kind of appearing like she may have gone through some shit. I'm thinking, did Martin molest her? Like, what happened? And did her dad molest her? All the things. So they finish having sex, and then while he's getting his money out, she like sneaks and throws his phone out the window. She doesn't know that he already sent some pictures to his homeboy. Ryan's black, by the way, so that's going to be important too. So he gives her the 30. He doesn't realize his phone is gone yet, and she just walks out with $30, 30 quid. And then he's just standing there looking for his phone, doesn't know what happened. So then she goes and sneaks into the kitchen of the cafeteria and gets a knife. And I'm thinking, maybe she just got some serious mental issues and she's a cutter. She goes in the bathroom. Little Arabella and little Terry come in and they're talking shit about some girl named Rochelle or something like that. And it's cute. I mean, it's not cute. You shouldn't be talking shit about people, but it's teenager shit. And then they walk out, and then she takes a knife and cuts the underside of her thigh. So I'm still thinking, like, maybe she's a cutter. That's a symptom of trauma and depression and all sorts of shit. It doesn't mean you want to kill yourself. A lot of the times it just means that... I have on boxers, by the way, because I'm looking at the viewfinder and I'm like, it looks like I have no underwear on. I have on boxers, by the way. I just have big legs. So it is what it is. And these shorts are going to ride. So I'm thinking she's a cutter. That's a symptom of abuse. So things are adding up. I'm like, things are adding up, So she cuts the underside of her thigh. And I'm like, okay, so she cut in a place where it was hidden and all this other shit. And that's what cutters do. I think I was saying, like, it's not often about killing yourself when it comes to cutting. It usually is about... your brain sends like endorphins and feel-good hormones and stuff like that when you're injured. So there's kind of a high that comes with cutting. So a lot of people do it to feel better. Some people feel dirty and they feel like they need to punish themselves and things like that. And there's probably a bunch of different reasons. I mean, people are individuals, so you don't know what they're reasoning for behind the things that they do a lot of the times. But those are like the main ones based off of studies and stuff like that. So we go to her classroom, and little Arabella and little Terry are talking across class. I forgot what they were talking about. And then all of a sudden, little Terry notices Theo. Theo has her head down on the desk, and then her legs are bleeding. Like if you had your period and it bled down your legs or some shit. So Terry calls the teacher, and she's like, and the teacher's like, yeah. And she's like, look. And then the teacher goes over to Theo. And Theo says that Ryan raped her at knife point and cut up her thighs and shit like that. No, he should not have been taking pictures of her during sex. It sounds like she may have had more feelings for him than he had for her, because she almost texted him that she loved him. It shouldn't have happened. But it sounds like she's already going through a lot of shit before him. And so having not dealt with that shit and possibly still going through that shit, get to that part too. She expresses it by lashing out and hurting other people in extreme ways, because he could have went to jail. I mean, if you had just told the truth and said he took pictures of you naked or some shit, he still would have got in trouble, because that's child pornography and shit. But you making up like extreme shit, and she's white and he's black, and there's that whole dichotomy of like white women accusing black men of rape when they didn't rape them and things, and from slavery times and all sorts of shit. So it's a lot. Like, why do you need to go that far? But it sounds like she's very angry. She's been through a lot of shit and she doesn't know how to deal with it. I'm still on the train of she was molested. I'm still thinking like, hey, you were molested. So, or you were raped, or something happened to you, or something like that. So, this doesn't make it okay. It just kind of explains it. It's like, oh, okay. So that way you don't internalize the fact that she did some fucked up shit to this little black boy. It's like, okay, you have issues and you are using your issues to hurt other people instead of facing who you're really mad at. And that's what most racism is. I don't like myself, so I'm going to find a train and hop onto it of things or people that I can put all my anger on. And I'm going to justify it till it sounds true in my mind. That's how my family taught me to deal with my anger, is to call black people niggers and things like But whatever. So she tells this fucking lie. Ryan gets called into the office. They're about to send him to jail. The principal left the office and had to lock the door. All sorts of stupid shit. He's like, I didn't cut her. What the fuck is she talking about? What's happening? You can see the anxiety rising up in this child's face. And he's like, they leave him in the office, and then Terry, her ass, she in the hallway talking to all the, I guess they hang out with the black crowd, and she in the hallway talking to all the black people, talking about he's a rapist and rape, and she's just loud, and Arabella's just kind of standing there and shit like that, and so they go outside, and Arabella and Terry is with their little guy friend, his little light-skinned guy friend. And he's talking about, well, the pictures don't lie, and da-da-da. And apparently, because it looked like he was sending pictures while he was taking them, because he was pressing extra buttons beside the button to take the picture. So he shows the pictures that Ryan sent him while he was having sex with Theo to Arabella and Terry, and they're like, this bitch lied and she a white bitch. This stupid shit. I was just like, okay. And then Arabella's like, oh, well, why don't you show that to the principal, because Ryan could go to jail. And he's like, you know how many girls with pictures I have in my phone? I could go to jail. And why y'all taking pictures? Why do children think it's okay to take pictures? Why do adults think? Don't leave evidence. Don't leave evidence of the things that you have done with people that are private. Because then, if somebody human beings are petty. First and foremost, and I'm talking from an adult consensual perspective. Human beings are petty, and if they're mad that day and want to pick you to put their anger on, they can just do stupid shit with your stuff. Or you might have broke up with them, or you're done with them, or something happened in your relationship, and then to get back at you, now your vagina is spread all across the interwebs because, people are trash. But, and at the same time, you should be able to trust that nobody will do that, and that's why there's laws now that say that you can't, spread people's vaginas and genitals and shit all over the internet fucking, or just being naked. So yeah, I guess then it's up to the fucking people that are taking pictures and shit and sharing them. Y'all need to stop doing that. You're trash. And be free to do whatever you want with your bodies. I personally just wouldn't, because people are crazy and I don't trust people. But that's the me thing. I have nothing against if somebody wants to do whatever the fuck they want with their body. So, you gotta make it make sense. So anyways, these little children should not have pictures just because they're children, and that's child pornography, and they're spreading it around maliciously, and he knows it's wrong. That's why he didn't want to, he knows it's wrong so much that he doesn't even want to save his friend from going to jail. He could delete the pictures off his phone, maybe he watching the what's it called? True crime shit, and he's seen what could happen, and they could probably look the pictures up or stuff on his phone's hard drive or whatever's on a flip phone that doesn't delete shit all the way. Who knows? But he knows that it's wrong enough to not even want to save his friend. If his friend had went to jail, he would have just been like, well, fuck it, shit. And that is so trifling. That is very trifling. But yeah, it's wrong. But also Theo's wrong. Both of them all of the picture sharers and Theo is wrong. And what they did to Theo was wrong. What Ryan did to Theo, taking pictures of her, was wrong. And of course she is right to be mad and right to, want to do something about it. But the way she went about it, how she responded, was not okay. You know, if you're gonna tell the truth. You know. But anyways, Terry and Arabella's little friend send the pictures of Theo to Arabella, and Arabella goes and shows the principal from her phone. And Ryan is immediately let go. And they had the little African group or the black group that they all hang out in. And they just like cheering and talking about that white bitch, and she tried to not save our man, and we saved him, and we are the Alliance. And so the black group, they say, is calling themselves the Alliance and all this other shit. And it was just like, okay, well. And then you see Theo walking out. And Theo is walking out. I think she's with her mom. They called her mom to come take her home and whatever. She probably got expelled. Who knows? I don't know. We'll see in the next episode, which I'm not going to watch ahead of time. I'm not going to do it. And she's walking out of the principal's office, and she goes home. She gets home. This is where things get twisted. She goes home, and she's sitting on the couch with her mom, and her stepdad is sitting in a chair, and her stepdad seems really nice. At first I was like, did he molest her? Did he do something to her? It's not seeming like it. He seems really nice. And her stepdad's just trying to understand what's wrong with her, why she act like this, why she do such and such, and whatever and whatever. And her mom's talking about she's just a bad kid and all this other stuff. And then her stepdad says something about, do you miss your dad? Or no, he says something about, it must have been difficult when your dad did what he did to you and your mom and exposed you all like that and things like that. So apparently he's under the belief that her dad molested her and beat her mom, like physically abused her or some shit. And then Theo looks up and she says, my mom told me to lie and say that my dad touched me because she wanted sole custody. My dad never touched me. I was only 7 years old, and my mom made me lie about it. And then she said that he beat her. I never saw any bruises. So we're going to say we don't know for that. Because, we don't know. But, she did apparently make Theo lie about her dad. And she just said, I just miss my dad. And her mom turned her into a totally different person at the age of 7 when she made her lie about her dad touching her. And she said she just said those things. She didn't know any better. She didn't know exactly what they meant. She just said them because her mom told her to. And, there goes stepdad looking like, what? On his face. So it's interesting because I don't know if Thea was ever sexually assaulted in her life, because that was just a snapshot of her teen years. But the way they made it seem like right after that they go back to the therapy group, and Theo doing her whole speech about how she's been sexually exploited. So the way they're setting this up, she looks like she's bullshitting this group too, like she hasn't figured her shit out. And that's why, going back to Terry feeling the type of way about Arabella going to see Theo's group, I mean, yes, you would feel a type of way. Yes, you would after that situation. And then the thing is, when Theo was walking away from, the black kids, and they was all just staring at her and shit while she was walking away with her mom to go home, she said under her breath, African monkeys. And so Theo got some racism. She's just all a ball of manipulation, a ball of anger, making up shit, lying about shit, all sorts of stuff. So the way they set it up, it looks like she's lying about this group and she's never been sexually assaulted. And I mean, having your picture taken of while you're having sex, that's fucked up. I mean, but she let him finish consensually, and then she threw his phone out the window and took the 30 quid. So, I never want to like disregard other people's, path and the things that they've been through. But the way she responds to this type of shit is not okay. It's like she wants revenge, but she gets revenge in a fucked up way that's unnecessary. So yeah, they shoot back to her, saying her little speech at the group about how she been through shit and she just wants to help survivors. And then and she's looking right at Arabella as she's saying this, and then her smile drops and she gets this low-key fucked up look on her face. And then Arabella, they shoot to Arabella and she's just looking at her smiling like, I trust Theo, I like her. And at the earlier, when the group had ended and Arabella was about to leave, this is earlier in the show, she was telling Theo, "Oh, I wish I had gotten to know you better when we were in high school." The thing is, you did get to know her. You got to know her as somebody who is manipulative, somebody who will lie and make things up just to punish people because she feels scorned. You know her as a possible racist. From what Arabella experienced, we know that what she called them under her breath. They didn't hear her say that though, so you know her. But that's the fact of what she did to Ryan and how she tried to accuse him of rape out of nowhere and shit like that, and how white women did that to black men and do that to black men and things like that. And this is not like an all the time thing or nothing. It's just a part of the history of blackness. So you do know her. You know what type of person she is. You know that she's not the greatest person when it comes to how she deals with her emotions. So since you know that, that's all you really need to know. And maybe she was sexually assaulted at some point over the years, because they're in their 30s now. Maybe she was sexually assaulted. Maybe that did happen. But the way they set it up, it makes it appear like she still has some issues she needs to work out when it comes to how she deals with her emotions. And if I was Arabella, I wouldn't be in that group. But you know what? Arabella didn't see the flashback. We saw the flashback. So going purely on what Arabella's experiencing, this girl did some racist, low-key fucked up, high-key fucked up shit in high school. That's high-key fucked up. And what Ryan did is high-key fucked up too. So we're not going to leave him out. And it's kind of like, it takes a lot of self-work to work through doing high-key fucked up shit to people when you feel emotionally upset or overwhelmed or whatever, or slighted. So I don't know what's going to happen next. She didn't own up to it. Like, she didn't admit. Like, she just kind of kept this martyr type of situation and was like, yeah, I just want to really help people and help, people that have been sexually assaulted and abused and such and such and such. Even when Arabella was talking to her after class. So, I don't know. So, we'll see. I feel like Theo has a lot of issues that she hasn't worked through yet. And the fact, you know what? How that she still got some shit wrong with her? Is the fact in her little speech, she doesn't include anything about the fact that, and I've done some fucked up shit too to people. And I've hurt people because of the pain that I've been through and the trauma that I've experienced. And, I understand the dark places that folks can go. So there was no recognizing of her stuff. And it's interesting because earlier in the show as well, Arabella, when she first got to the group, was saying that she just wants to feel like the world isn't full of rapists and she's just going to get snatched up or some shit. Because now she just feels like it can happen at any time. Like she has no control over, whether or not she gets assaulted. Because it's happened twice. I would say that you have as much control as the boundaries that you put up and the things that you catch that make you feel uncomfortable. Now, I'm not saying that you're always going to catch shit. Like with old slip a condom off nigga. You're not always going to catch shit. And it is what it is. Like, she went into a consensual situation where she just wanted to let off some steam and have some random sex, just to kind of let go of some of that, because she was having flashbacks and things like that. And so she just wanted to have some sex to see if she could do it, to see if the trauma was affecting her that much, just trying to throw herself back into life. If you've been through something like that, don't try to just have sex right after. You really got to process through how you feel and stuff like that. Whether or not you have sex or not doesn't mean that you're gonna get raped. It's just a little side piece. So she yeah, so sometimes you're just not gonna know. And it's scary. Like, you walking down the street and somebody does jump out the bushes and snatch you and shit like that. It's kind of a positive that a high percentage of people that will assault you will tend to be people that you know. So instead of somebody just jumping out of the bushes, because that gives you more situations that you could possibly try to gain more control of, because you can kind of see patterns better, and you can kind of understand things and put up boundaries. Not all the times. I mean, somebody can just pretend to be your best friend and slip some shit in your drink. The world is a scary place. I am hesitant to date. I know a lot of my clients are hesitant to date. This fucking shit is crazy. Like, somebody can just pretend to be like really, really nice to you, and then, all the way up until the point where you do some fuck shit. So you just pay attention. Just pay attention to your emotions, to things that make you feel uncomfortable, and learn how to be okay with saying no and backing away and walking out. Like, I will walk out. You say some stupid shit to me at the beginning of dinner and on a date, I'm leaving the dinner table. I'm going home. Don't say some fuck shit to me while I'm trying to eat. No. I'm just going to end. The dinner's over now. You said some stupid shit. Like, oh, you would look better if you never ever wore your glasses again. Like, why are you saying some stupid shit like that? You mean I don't look good if I wear my glasses? Like, what? You know what I mean? Like, stupid shit. So, yeah. This episode was interesting. It was like a plot twist in the middle of the episode. I was thinking it was like, oh, we're going to see Theo's life and what happened to her to make her the way she is, because she seems so nice. That's interesting, too. She seems so nice, but she's really a wolf in sheep's clothing, She's really a wolf in sheep's clothing. And sometimes it be the people that you allow the closest to you. Sometimes it does. And it is scary. Like, how do you know? I think more than not, you will notice stuff. People tend to give themselves away. It's just paying attention. Because I don't want y'all out there being scared. Like, everybody's gonna assault me and abuse me. No, it's more so something makes you feel uncomfortable, block it. Block you in the name of Jesus. Block it. And work yourself up to it. It takes time to have that much bravery to block things like that, but work yourself up to it. And eventually, I'm thinking Arabella will realize that Theo is trash still. That's how they're setting it up. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that she hasn't been sexually assaulted at some point in her life, but that's how they're setting it up, like she's still trash and she's still lying about her life. So, hopefully it's not over some big shit that sends her spiraling into a ball of trauma again. And that's the thing though too. It's like you'll come across different type of people as you experience the roller coaster of post-trauma, and you'll want to trust people. You want to believe in people. And understand that it's about being able to calmly allow people into your life without feeling like oh, I need this person. Somebody likes me. Somebody wants to be around me. Somebody's helping me. So I need them. And so, they're going to make everything better, basically. Because maybe that's what Arabella's thinking. Like, this woman here has been through what I've been through and understands. And so she's going to help make everything better. And in reality, she hasn't worked on herself that much either. That's how they're setting it up. So everybody is at their own place of healing. And maybe that's it. Maybe it's about just recognizing that people are humans and they have the potential to fuck up. And when you see them fucking up in a way that you do not allow into your life, you have to be okay with stepping back. And, so maybe it's kind of like, even if Arabella doesn't realize Theo has issues until some bullshit happens, she would be less surprised if she had already expected that from her as a human being who makes mistakes and does fuck shit. And she wouldn't internalize it as much, and she'd be able to put up a boundary easier to block it. Like, I'm going to treat you as you present yourself to me until you do some fuck shit, and then I'm going to block it. I'm not going to expect you to do fuck shit. I'm just going to see you as a human being you are and just say, you could do some fuck shit, or you could just be a decent person. We'll see what happens. We'll see. And the more consistent a person is in their behavior, whether it's negative, positive, or inconsistent, the more it'll be easier to kind of be okay with having that person around on a regular basis. Something that helps me a lot is noticing how somebody treats themselves, how they treat other people, friends, families, coworkers, and that will later reflect on how they treat you eventually. Negative, always talking negative about everybody else, always gossiping about everybody else. Most likely they're gossiping about you and talking negative about you to other people. They're a playboy and things like that, and they fuck with people's emotions and everybody else's emotions, but they don't fuck with your emotions. That means that eventually they probably will fuck with your emotions. So noticing things like that too. So yeah, maybe it's just about not having these super high expectations for people and putting them on a pedestal immediately as soon as you meet them, but more so just seeing people as human beings and understanding that human beings have the capability to do anything, and if some shit comes up, being prepared to block it and leave. Sounds so simple, but it takes so much fucking work. That way you don't walk around scared all the time, and you can interact with people and enjoy life and just meet people where they're at, instead of having these expectations and then all of a sudden these expectations aren't being met and then you feel like you're doing something wrong or something like that. So yeah, it's still not 100%, but nothing's 100%. Niggas can jump out of bushes. People have fight, flight, or freeze. You can freeze up and can't move, and your brain did it for you, and you don't know what to do at this point. Shit happens. But I feel like the closer we can get to learning how to be free in our boundaries and noticing behaviors for what they are, the closer we get to doing that on a damn near 100% basis, the less likely bad things will happen, because we will catch it and expunge it from our lives immediately. And that is how we take control of our lives. Because we cannot control the people out there with the issues that make them want to hurt folks. We can make laws, we can make legislation, we can send them to jail and shit like that, but if somebody is fucking wanting to hurt somebody, human beings, we got the best of us and we got the worst of us. So I want to be in control of how much time I would spend around the worst of us. How much energy I would give to the worst of us. So yeah, probably didn't make that much sense, but oh well. I hope you all enjoyed, and I messed up on P Valley. I messed up on this show last week. I messed up on P Valley, so I'll correct that. Apparently, she's coming from Texas, and during the Harvey flood, and she's in Mississippi. She ends up in Mississippi. That's where Strip Club is. So yeah, I fucked up last time. I apologize. But yeah, we're all human. We make mistakes and we do better. Get messy, make mistakes. Okay, I'm gonna go edit this and then go to sleep. Later days.